Hello, my name is Corinne Sky, and welcome back to episode 7 of Mum Can You Not? And I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, my mommy.
Hello. Hi. I didn't know that we'll get to episode 7 still talking. And, if you're seeing us at episode 7, just comment a word in Shona on Debele or Zulu so that I know that you've traveled this journey with us.
How are you doing today, babes?
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm blessed. This place, whenever I'm in this podcast studio, I feel like I'm at my own house. I just want to stand up and start sprucing the flowers and just say, hi there, you've just seen me, just about to hoover my living room. Look at my very expensive couch.
Yeah, it's very comfortable.
Very, very comfortable.
Good care of us.
He does. Whenever you're in Leicester and you want to do a podcast, or just come and have a proper natter in front of mics like we do with my daughter, Chase's place is the place to be. What is it called?
Leicester Podcast Studios.
Leicester Podcast Studios. It's very accessible because it's in town, isn't it? And Chase is amazing. To say,
We're talking about friendships.
Oh, friendships. I think friendships, okay, if we say we are talking about, we haven't spoken about friendships per se, but it's something that, we thought to make an actual podcast based on friendships because of the amount of questions, the amount of people who come and sit with us when we go to places, and they're complaining, or they're very upset about how their friends are copying them, how their friends are not speaking to them, how their friends send indirects to them. So I thought, I think it's friendships like love. They are very much part of our day-to-day lifing, isn't it? And they bring a lot of cancers within, I think they're friendships, like relationships, any relationship, I think they're very difficult. Wherever two people meet to relate, whether in a romantic way or in a platonic way, since there's always going to be problems, isn't it? I can remember one particular story, right? Again, statute of limitation, guys. I tend to work with statutes of
Anything
limitation.
after 5 years is fine, I think.
And if people are going to actually work on trying to figure out who these people are, then you are just a crazy individual. If you live around the area I live, maybe you might know about these people. But basically, these people had been friends for a very long time. And in friendships, you become very vulnerable. It's like being in Big Brother's house. Initially, you are very aware of the cameras, and before you know it, you've forgotten about them, and your whole persona is coming out, isn't it? So that's the same with friendships. Initially, you're not very sure what you share with your friend and what you don't share with your friend. And as the more you, the more you spend time with them, the more you become very, loose with your lips, and you'd start telling them, and vice versa, depending with what if the friendship is mutual. So there'll be mutual sharing of life, if you like, in things that you do. So now that's what these friends were doing. They're doing everything together, the good, the bad, the ugly, everything, like literally everything. So then, you get into some misunderstandings and people stop being friends. And then the other friend decided to take all the friend's secrets, and some were really terrible things that you don't want people to know about you, and decided to share it with the world, literally like opened Pandora's box and, just put these things out into the world. And I think, because I knew both of them, I knew these friends, I knew one better than the other.
Gosh, it's an age-old story, isn't it?
Yeah, I knew one better than the other. And she came to me and she was very heartbroken. And what I found, why I'm sharing with this, because obviously in all your friendship groups, or in this age-old story, somebody where this has happened, where you share your intimate details, and when they get upset, they tell everybody about your business. She wasn't upset about her business being out there. She was upset with the premeditation, because she actually didn't know anything about this person. So even if she, even if she then decided she wanted to do a counter, she actually didn't know. And she said she felt conned, in the sense that when she looked back, they always met in neutral places. She had never been to this person's house, but this person had been to her house many a times. She hadn't been around this person's people, but she had been. So she felt like this person came
I've
into
fallen for that con.
exactly.
And it's a long con as well.
Yeah.
It's a long con. The person studies you, they take time with you.
Yeah.
They'll be asking you all of these questions thinking that, oh, they're so interested in your life, like in a genuine way. You'll be there oversharing, like an oversharing person.
Yeah.
Then you just 1 minute, you just have like wait, I don't know anything about this person, but I'm always telling them deep and personal stuff about myself.
Yeah. And exactly, because when she said that, actually, it took me aback, because I was thinking, because when you know somebody and you know, the other thing is, in life, guys, be very genuine. If you know something has happened that is catastrophic, even if it's horrible, don't pretend you don't know about it. That's very disingenuous, especially if somebody's business is all out there.
People do that all the time.
Don't pretend you don't know about it. If you don't want to directly ask that, oh, I heard that this happened, just ask them if they're okay.
Yeah.
They will divulge as much as they want to. So that's what I did with her, because she came to me. The other thing is, I don't tend to want to go to people when they're in crisis, because you just act like you're one of those people who just want to take from them. Yeah. So she came to me, and I just said to her, I heard, that's what I said. I said, I heard, are you okay? And she goes, it's not even about the information, because at the end of the day, people would have forgotten about this. She was very mature about her take on, because some of the things that were out there, if it was my business, I would have moved to China. If it was me being spoken about, the way she was being dogged, I would have gone to China and changed my name to Meng Li and joined a monk or monastery or whatever, just to be away from it, because it was mortifying. But she was taking every day as it came. But what she said was, it was the premeditation. She targeted me. She groomed me into me thinking that she's my friend. And what she took away from me, what this friendship took away from me, it can never give back. My personal life is my life. I've lived it. It's me. But she took away from me the trust, my ability to move on and trust another human being, that they genuinely are for me, male or female. So that's what that friendship took away from her. It wasn't the business. She doesn't care about it. Because now actually she was right. Because I met her recently at the festival. I couldn't actually remember word for word what was said about her. But this has remained with me.
But you remember the scenario.
The scenario.
Yeah.
What her take away from it. So, so that's the first lesson we need to take. Be very careful about the people you let into your lives. Be very careful, be very wary. Especially if the friendship is becoming like a questionnaire. There are friends who literally every day are asking you, where have you been? Who are you with? What are you doing? It's always very much about, give me your information, but never. And also the context of where you meet people as well. I think friends you meet in grief should remain in grief. You know what I'm saying? I never want to take my friends that I saw when I Pandaita Mbudzika into joy. I really don't want to do that. I don't know. What do you think?
You know that Esther Perel book, the one that I read, I can't remember what it's called, but the one I'm always talking about. She speaks about
mating in captivity.
Mating in captivity. She actually speaks about trauma dumping and relationships that are like that, and that some of them can be quite exploitative. But when you're in grief, and sometimes you need somebody, you don't automatically notice that this person's trying to capitalize off my grief. So you're so quick to share because you really just want a sounding board or an ear to listen to. And then people, once they clock that, okay, this person's a bit of an oversharer, and they think that your life is somewhat comical or somewhat entertaining to gist about, they'll keep on coming back. And it's such a shame that there's people like that. But as a victim of such a scenario, one thing that I've learned is it shouldn't change you. And the only thing that you should learn is to have boundaries and to know who is for you and who is not for you. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, put it in a journal, because your grief shouldn't be somebody's entertainment.
Exactly.
Ever.
And also the other thing is, I don't know, maybe life has taught me being self-reliant, and I'm very lucky because I've got an older daughter, so I don't tend to go out to venture looking for friends. I can count on my 5 fingers people I actually call genuine friends. I've got acquaintances, tons of them, and some people actually think I'm their friend when I'm not. I'm just a very good acquaintance. So I think our friendships should not be all. A person I've met in the club when I'm half drunk and we are telling each other how much we love each other and we're going to go to Mallorca is not a person I want to start a business with. Sometimes it happens that when you meet somebody after a drunken night, you actually realize that they're very lovely as a sober person and they actually are an owner of a conglomerate, but it never happens. People you meet in the club, let's club. And I've got so many not clubbing friends. I don't club that much, guys.
Outside friends.
I've got outside friends I've met so many times when I'm outside at festivals. I go, yeah, let's do this again tomorrow. And I know I'm not going to see you again. Exactly. So let's also know to live friendships or acquaintances or people we get to know where we find them. This business of trying to take people into spaces where they don't traditionally would never fit is where we also get it wrong, right? If, my aunt, God love her, used to say this.
Sorry, before you carry on, I wanted to ask, but do you think that's a symptom of like teenage and early 20s? Like, do you think when you were younger? Even in
adulthood, because friendships carry on. The issues that come with friendships, like relationships, don't matter what age you are. They're always going to be the same, because a shitty person when they were 15 is always going to be a shitty person when they're 45.
There's no room for growth.
There is room for growth, but some people, that's if they want to grow.
Yeah,
but I've known people who I've known for over 20 years and I've been friends with briefly, and they're still doing that in their new friendship groups. You always hear the same problem, and that's how they roll. Because growth doesn't come naturally with age. Growth, you have to actually work on growing yourself to say, you know what, I'm very problematic because of this. I'm very so like I was saying, we can't, let's have different friends for different things, right? Like my work friends are not my personal friends. I don't never want to see my manager drunk. I don't want to see that. Even if I get along very well with them, I don't want to see her slurring a speech or in a toilet with somebody or telling me about their personal lives and their mascara is running. That's not what I want to see, because I don't want, on Monday now when she's telling me to do this task, I'm just thinking, girl, we were drinking together and you're telling me how John dished you over. So I think it's okay to have different friendship groups and, to relate differently with people. The problem comes when one person becomes all your facets. That's when some people become ruined, because they know where you work, how much you earn, the issues you're having at work. They know your boyfriend, how much your boyfriend gives you grief and how much you've been wanting to break up with them. They know when you've been on holiday and how much you like shoplifting. They know your whole life. You know everything about you. Codependent relationships. That's where the problem is. There's in friendships, that's where we can go. We can, have multiples and no one cares and no one judges us. Let's have friends for different things. It's okay. If you've got that friend who doesn't like you to have many friends, red flag. Those people who...
Yeah, I think that's a red flag.
Because I might have friends, because I've got friends. One of my very good girlfriend is Asian, right? There's no way I'm going to take her to a barbecue where we are eating pork and dancing to Japreza, because she doesn't know that. But there are places I'll go with her and do things with her, and she doesn't mind. She's got her own group of friends, but there are times where our worlds will sort of like probably meet. If it's her birthday or on her wedding. I'm like some of her friends. Monumental life events, but we're very good friends, but we roll in different circles. I would then be worried if she now comes on my TikTok and sees me with my Zimbabwean friends at a Zim fest and at a Zim event, and she goes, "What are you doing with them?"
Yeah,
but you can go to your own events and do whatever you like. I wouldn't ask that. So friendships can, work with different people. You come together for different things. A friend that doesn't like that is a bit of a problem.
What I want to ask is that, when you were like in your 20s, do you feel like you were a lot more naive towards like people's intentions and the substance of the relationship than you are, say, now? Because I know for a fact, and as I've gotten older, I feel like I'm less naive, but I feel like I've been so naive when it comes to friendships. And once, parents, they always know you got that bad friend, and she would tell me like, I said, like, but in your mind you want to think the best of people. So do you think that's cynicism? towards people, which is protective.
Yeah, and you know the thing is, I think even when I was in my 20s, I was very naive. I had a friend, you know, who single-handedly almost ruined my life.
Yeah.
And this is no word of a lie, ruined my life completely. If there wasn't interventions from other people, I would probably not be sitting here right now because of friendships. And what I would like to say is, it's good to be naive because also you experience life through your own lenses, isn't it? And then you get to know, because in that naivety as well, you then meet some other people. Like this particular evil woman I'm talking about who used to be my friend. I actually met a very good friend of mine through my experiences in trying to navigate the mess that they'd left me in. I met a very good friend. So any experience that doesn't kill us, that doesn't leave us very damaged, is good. And in your 20s, because you've just come out of your teenage years where you are cliques and there's nothing, everything is very surface. Your friendship is based on that. Today we're wearing blue. There's no real life experiences apart from boys. You're coming from that. You're now a young adult. You're forming, proper relationships. You're performing your own individual identity. So obviously there's going to be a lot of naivety because you're just, coming into adulthood. And some, you might be one of those unlucky people who meets, because you are so keen and genuine, because you are like me, very generous with your time, generous with your resources, generous with information. You don't see people as evil. You just see people as good or people who need fixing. So that is one big problem you had. You'd pick up all these trashy friends from wherever they are, dust them up, give them clothes to wear, put a bit of common sense in their head, and off their way, all they can talk about is how evil you are. And it used to hurt me, but in a way, looking at your journey from a person outside, you've met through some of those people, you've met some very good people. Because I know one thing you've always loved, which has made you maybe be more in touch with a lot of people than I have, about community and community cohesion. So you tend to want to do a lot of things with a group of people who share the same identity as you. And because of that, with numbers, the probability of you being, effed over is higher as well, isn't it? But I like the thing that it's never changed you as a person. You're just more careful about who you share your space, your time, and your resources with. So friendships can do a number on you to the extent that I've known some people who, you just see them in the street and they're just going,
yo,
because of friendships. But the beauty about friendships, unlike romantic relationships, you can set boundaries as to, I'm going to be friends with this person to a certain extent, or I'm going to be friends. You are sort of like more in control than you would be possibly where matters of the heart come. I stopped this business of bestie when I was 22. I don't have a best friend. I've got friends. I've got people I enjoy their company, and some at the same time, some at separate times. But I don't have one friend for everything in my life.
Yeah, same. You know what? With the whole idea of besties, I think originally when I was younger, I thought like besties where there's like an element of codependency. And I realized codependent relationships, whether even romantic relationships that are too codependent, is not a positive thing. But I do have a bestie, like Lois, that's my friend for life, because we're individuals and we don't put pressure on each other to be everything to one another, and that's why I'll give her the bestie spot. But not because we go everywhere together, we talk every day, we do everything together, but two completely different people, and we could see each other probably like 4 times in a year. But that understanding of one another, I think, is what I define as a bestie.
I've got a bestie in that respect, but she's more of a sister to me than I could call her a bestie. I've known her for over 20 years. And I think what we've gone through, because we've done, I couldn't call Sister Me my bestie. Shout out Sister Me if you ever watch this. I love you to bits. I see her regularly, and sometimes I can go for months without speaking to her because life does that. And sometimes I can go every day seeing her. But the thing with her is that the amount of life we've done together, she can't qualify as a best friend.
How
to
long
me.
have you guys been together for?
I've known Tamali for over 20 years now.
That's crazy.
I've known her for over 20 years. She was the friend I was speaking about in the last podcast, that she'll send you an email attachment of a photo.
Yeah.
She can be very anal like that. We are very different people, very, very different. But we love each other. There's genuine love there.
Yeah.
And she's seen me through some very traumatic, episodes of my life, and the same for me. So I don't think I would qualify her as a friend. I can't qualify her as a friend. She's more of a sister to me, so
yeah, there's friends who graduate into family. Like for me, Munya's my brother.
There you go. Yeah,
like
I don't see Munya as your friend. I actually see Munya like my son.
Because I don't even like him most of the time, I can't get rid of him. Like, no matter what I do, I can't get rid of him.
But the thing is, because the thing with friends like Munya are no longer friends. You know why? Because Munya can come kumba usiku. Because I remember there was a time when you were in Ukraine, Munya, this is Coco's best friend. We used to co-parent Jojo together. You would bring his niece, and we would take the kids out, and Coco didn't even have, she would actually see the photos. She would even know that's what we're doing. She would just see photos of us out there with the kids. So those people, we can't call them friends. They are now family. Because even if you fight, there's always, a kumbaya.
What you just have to make up, or just forget about it.
Just forget about it, and you just keep it pushing. And there's no, you've gone past that, I'm having a bath. Okay, because, sometimes I'll be at home, right?
Yeah.
I'm not expecting Tamali. She'll just rock up.
She'll just show up.
Yeah, she'll just show up. Today, she's probably at home as we speak because it was Rio's birthday. So things like that. So those people, I can't say friends. Friends are, I think we need to define what a friend is and what people who have now become family are like. Because I can go to Tamali's house. Everybody knows
like situational, like you were saying. Like you can have like outside friends who, that's my good home girl. Like if we want to go to the club,
call her.
If you've got like business friends who okay, if you need business advice, that's my good business friend. You can call them up. You see,
because when you say that, now that you've said it, I was just thinking, because I'm a very...
And it's based on like you can cut them off at any point. Yeah.
One thing I've always said, because I'm in artist management, right? And we're always talking about this with Coco. I don't manage artists I don't like, ever. Even you might be the best person and I might actually be
the most talented.
If I cannot abide you, I can't manage you. You know why? Because you spend so much time in each other's spaces, like when you're on tour. Because, I've been managing Baba Harare for the last, it's almost coming to a decade. Can you imagine? I've known that man. And, sometimes I really cannot stand him, but it's become more like family. So, you fight and then you carry on. But now the issue with these situational people, or people you gravitate to because they are cool. The moment you fight, because actually there's no genuine like, because some friendships, they're built on, I don't know, because you've been in the same friendship group. You don't necessarily like each other that much. That if anything, that's when you hear it's a person doing a live for 2 hours, laying all your life, doing a YouTube video, laying all your life. The amount of times I've seen ex-best friends doing lives about other people.
I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I've got so much grace to give, but if you ever in your life go on the internet and try to put my business in the streets, just consider yourself dead to me. There's nothing to talk about.
I was saying that about, who people, when somebody owes them money, right? This is one hill I'll die by. Zimbabweans have got this thing where, if you owe them money, they'll go and blast you on the internet and say, hey, this person hasn't paid me.
Yeah.
Consider your debt paid. There's no way I'm paying you.
All those likes, comments, follow, shares. If you put them all together,
your debt is paid.
Yeah. Don't even ask me for your money. Because why would I not pay you after you've done that?
You've told the people.
I agree with you.
Go back to that, those people you're speaking to on that live, telling them how much I owe you, and ask for, if I'm owing you £80, if they're like 800 people, they ask for 10p from each and every one of them to pay for my debt, because I ain't giving it to you. You've used me as content, love. There's no way, absolutely no way. Because my sister.
That's never happened to either of us, but
I know, but I've seen it happen.
I completely agree.
My sister, who lives in Canada, right? There's this page on Facebook, and they used to go and it was sort of like a naming and shaming group. So if somebody owed you money, you'd go and name and shame. So I didn't even realize she was in this group.
And so some people are so quick to press the red button. Like if you are a person who does that, no one's gonna give you any money.
So anyway, this person pressed the red button, right? And they said, they put this person's name, photo, all the receipts, and how they'd reached out to them and asked for their money, and this first person had said, times are tough, ratata, all the receipts were lining up that this person genuinely owed this person money. So then I went into the comment section, which I never do, but when it comes to issues like this, I have time. So I went and I said, you know what, now you've done that. If I were this person, I would never pay you back, because
the debt is paid.
The debt is paid. You've made content of them. Then my sister, whilst I was typing, she was typing. So our comments came at the same time. So this person was like, underneath our comments, was like, because we have the same surname on Facebook. Yeah. So she goes, so you are from the same parents and you think exactly the same. I said, well, isn't it normal to think like that? That if you put my name on Facebook, over £20, or to pure on our Facebook. Now Facebook, no, that's me done. And also the other thing about putting a person on blast, unless if they're somebody like, I don't know, P. Diddy, people will forget about it.
People don't care. Like people don't think, they don't realize that it's not as big of a deal as they think it is.
Yeah.
Especially if you're, there's people who are constantly getting cooked. If you're constantly getting cooked on the internet, what's another fry?
Warm the grill up today. It's going to be a good fry. Do you want ketchup with this one?
And it will literally go within after not even 24 hours.
Yeah, because recently there was the people who normally get cooked, particularly in our communities, are promoters, after a show. So, they'll be dragged this way. They'll be dragged this way, dragged that way. And you see them next year, fresh as ever.
The same
exactly. And you think so, and I think as a community, we're different communities. I've seen different communities on social media who will drag a person until they crumble. They'll follow it up within and they'll unfollow you. They will, literally hound you down until you apologize for whatever you've done. Whereas in our community, it's just a light pepper and a light shallow fry. It's just a flambe. People just do this, and tomorrow they carry on with their lives. There's never an element of actually, dragging a person until
That's why cancel culture is such a pointless activity. Like, I've been on the internet for like 15 years. I've had my fair share of deep fat fries, air fries, flambe, roast, like any kind of cooking you can think of, I've had it. And after you've had a few fries, you become desensitized to it, and you can distinguish between which fries actually matter. Like, sometimes you get cooked because you actually did something wrong and you need to be accountable for it. But sometimes you get cooked because it's just people just dogpiling and bullying, and it's kind of the nature of the internet. But it's not consequential. The only way that like cooking becomes consequential is if the person actually reflects from it and they want to make a change in any aspect of their life. But most of these people who get cooked, the automatic response is to get defensive. So you're not teaching them anything. They'll just be back by an even bigger monster. Yeah,
and I think personally, you have to have the right recipe to cook certain people.
Yeah.
Where some people, if you cook them with the wrong recipe, they do not care.
They don't even flinch.
Because you're now saying that in friendships as well.
Yeah.
Recently, I was watching an episode. This is me. I'm not even digressing. It's within what we're talking about. So, Dr. Jackie, a long time ago, said something about, black people are not taken seriously when they go to a doctor because we're always moaning and whining, right? So she was, that was
a bit of a crazy take there, don't you think?
It was a crazy take. And then she was cooked adequately for it.
A proper cook.
Yeah, and because she's the kind of person who responds to cooking very well, she struggled with what people were saying. Yeah. And, she literally became a little hermit because she wants to be seen as this person who's always on the right side of things, right? So what she said, her take on it when she was being asked about it, because obviously if you're on a reality television show, they will bring it back again for you to to relive it, even though you were in the thick of it and you're being cooked. They'll have to, to microwave heat the whole thing. So she goes, when all this was happening, I knew I valued, I saw the value of friendships or something to that. I'm paraphrasing. But what she was saying was that, it's the people who reached out to her in that moment. So sometimes, again, friendships are strengthened on how people respond to you when you're under pressure.
Yeah.
I've got a friend of mine, right? We don't see each other often. But I'll tell you, because sometimes you have to celebrate people in public, because that's the only way you can acknowledge how their friendship means to you. I've got a friend called Patience. That's her actual name. She's an OT like me. We knew each other, and the thing about her which makes her a very important friend to me was my business. She didn't know it from me. She found it out from somebody else. Then as soon as she heard about it, she drove to my house, right? As she arrived at my house, the bailiffs were actually taking my life was lifing, guys. Because I wasn't in a job, I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything. Yeah. So I said to the bailiffs, do your work.
Knock yourself out.
Knock yourself out.
Would you like some bin bags?
Yeah. So anyway, so they are literally. So she comes, and in that moment when this was about to happen, and then she goes, "How much does she owe?" Right. I was upstairs at this point, just trying to protect my kids' few things because apparently I found out from this bailiff who was very nice, because he didn't see any fight in me, and I think he just realized that this woman has been through it, and he goes, if you put things. This was him actually giving me advice. If you put things in a room that you're naming as your child, we can't touch it. I said, anything? He says, yeah. So I was dragging this big ass television into your bedroom so that they couldn't take it away from me. But everything else I just said, do your worst. So I could hear her downstairs going, how much is she owing? This is my friend. And then they said whatever. And then she started speaking to the husband. And then they paid. Oh. They paid the bill, and these people. And these bailiffs, sometimes you see humanity and kindness in people you don't expect to see humanity and kindness. So what these bailiffs then did, because obviously they'd done a number in my house whilst they were taking things out, they put everything where it was supposed to be before they left. And the other one even hoovered. So I spent the whole week crying. So when Patience came in, then because actually what she'd done, she'd been through. This is getting me teared up. If Patience, you're listening, I love you to bits, because these are friendships. We didn't speak about my situation even after that.
Yeah.
She had brought food, actually. She had actually gone and done a whole food shop at Marks and Spencer. She was just going to drop food. Then she saw Mr. and Mrs. Bailiff dragging stuff out of my house, paid for that. They put everything back, these lovely bailiffs, and then they hoovered my house. And so she cooked for us. Patience did. And then she, because the husband had to go somewhere and was going to pick her up. We never spoke about my situation. She didn't even ask. She just loved on me. And then left me £200. And she was off on her way.
Oh, that is just...
You see, so it's friends like that who sometimes just pop up when life is lifing.
Yeah.
That you should value.
Yeah. And they don't want anything from
you.
You. Yeah.
She's never asked for this money back. Yeah. She's never. And actually after that, because then she said to me, because I think we then spoke about it, but not in the context that why did you do all this to me? And then she goes, remember when we qualified, you got me my first job. I didn't think it was that deep. I actually did not think anything of it. I was just literally thinking, I can't gatekeep. She's my friend. I've got these people who are paying better. Let me just, signpost to her. So it's friendships like that where it's reciprocity in friendship. If friendship is now one-sided to the extent that you are giving until you're starting to resent a friend, that's no longer a friendship. Yeah. That's more a situationship where you're giving. But if friends feel that, because you've been good to them, they want to give back, then those are friendships. And mature friendships, like you're saying with your lowest, you don't have to see each other every day. When you're now checking in with a friend again, that's now an
monetary experience.
That's an op, a monitoring spirit, or your parole officer. Because those are the only people you need to be checking in with. Life should be able to happen regardless of you seeing your friend. I'm talking about Patience now. She's moved to well, I can't say where she's moved to because now I'm doxing her anti. Yeah, she's moved.
Yeah.
We no longer live in the same area, and we don't speak that much. But when I speak to her, I can speak to her for 2 hours, and we don't speak again for 6 months. But we've done great, grandiose things for each other. And there are friendships that also come from weird spaces.
You know that, like what you're talking about, friends who are just like there when you need them the most. My friend who's like that is Samantha, you know, Forever Sammy. That babe, like, it's actually getting me emotional thinking about it. Like, when I was going to Ukraine, do you remember when I was going to Ukraine and I needed somebody to come and get my documents for me?
Yeah.
I was coming from Ukraine and you were coming from
London.
No, you were coming from Leicester to go to London because you're working in London. She drove from London to come in, get the documents.
Meet with me, yeah.
To meet and then she let me stay at her house because I had an appointment. Then I had an appointment that I needed to go to. Everybody let me down. And the one person that I knew that I could call was her, and she came and she was there with me the whole day.
Shout out to Forever Sammy. Forever Sammy, you know, me and Forever Sammy, we fight on WhatsApp, you know. But she's my daughter.
Different views, but she's an amazing person.
And you know the thing about Sammy, which I like about Sammy for you, Sammy doesn't take things too seriously. No. It's never too deep.
Yeah.
You know, Sammy has popped up to me because I've said something that she doesn't particularly like and doesn't align with the Christian values. I said to her, don't do that. And don't think that she'll take offense at it. She's one of my daughters I love to bits.
Yeah.
And I love you for loving my daughter, and shout out to Sammy.
Yeah.
So still on friendships, I've got a friend I've known for years.
Yeah.
Initially, she was my hairdresser. That's one of my friends that is...
she's amazing.
Shout out Gwen, my love. I know she watches this as well, and her and her husband are fantastic. You know, the thing is, right, I wasn't Gwen's friend. Let me tell you about my friendship and Gwen. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes friendships pop up in areas where Gwen and I don't see each other all the time either. She's been my hairdresser, subsequently my kids' hairdressers, and subsequently my grandkids' hairdresser as well. So she's in my life like that. She's one of my dearest friends, and I love her. But she wasn't my friend. I was friends with her ex-husband.
Did you poach her?
No. I was part of a divorce settlement. So what?
You were with the wife?
I didn't even want to go with the wife. Because, you know, when they broke up with her ex, I'm not putting your business on blast, Gwen, but I know she doesn't mind about this because she's since moved on from all this rubbish. When she broke up, I didn't know, because now I was sort of like in mourning because we had gotten to be so much, you know, great friends, but our friendship was very much, you know, leaning towards the husband. So I was thinking, now that they're not together, what do I do then? You know, because now I love her. She's my friend. We've known each other for over a decade. So what do I do? Do I go with the husband or do I stay with her? You know, like, you know, where there's always custody battles. So now the husband made it very easy for me. So when I spoke to him, because I wanted to establish where we were in this vicinity, he goes to me, if you keep on talking to her, you cannot be my friend.
I laugh, boy.
And I was like, see you, mate.
That's hilarious.
Later. So now I don't have, now at this point, I've negotiated my exit, right? So now I'm free. I'm a free agent. I can be friends with whoever I want to be with.
That's so funny.
I then start texting her.
Yeah.
Saying, because obviously I knew what had happened. I didn't want to lie and say, oh, I didn't know. So I said, Gwen, I heard what happened. I hope you're keeping well. She's not responding. So I'm thinking, now I'm going to be an orphan because I decided I refused to go with daddy. Now mommy is not answering. So I was like, so I kept on texting her and she wasn't responding. So I thought, you know what, let me just pop up to her and just... I didn't realize that she'd changed the number. The number I was texting wasn't the one she was still using. So she wasn't ignoring me. She wasn't actually seeing them. So when I saw her, it was literally like after 8 months of not seeing each other, and she'd been through it. So we laughed and we cried at the same time. We're doing everything, laughing here and crying on the other. And she was trying to tell me what had transpired through the laughter and the tears. And then that's when you realize that there's genuine love there, regardless of where I've come from and how. And one thing about Gwen, I would say, because my friends are different, very, very different people. If you put them in the room, they would never understand each other.
They wouldn't get on, yeah.
They would never understand because they're different. Because Gwen is very quiet and very about her life, very non-judgmental.
And very funny.
And very funny as well with it. So we spoke about it. We spoke about how men were trash. Then eventually, she's in a new marriage, happily married. Her husband is amazing. We call him Sekuru Kira. It's an inside joke. But they are amazing. They're an amazing couple. I love them for them. And I love them as my friends, So I've gained another friend where I lost the friend in the husband who told me gave me an ultimatum. I've now got a new friend in Sekuru Kira, and he loves me as well. He's always showing me, sending me some weirdness. And even when he wanted to propose to Gwen, I was the first person he told this about, and I've always felt honored. So those people, those friends will let us occupy spaces in their lives, spaces in their hearts, non-judgmental, never asking too much of us. If you have those, put them in the comment section, tell them every day. I tell my friends, in action, in words, how much I love them, and I try to be present for them if I can be. Any relationship in friendship that gives you pressure, you're not there for it. And you shouldn't be there for it. One where, if you don't see them for 3 weeks, you're now past status, oh my gosh.
I find that really difficult because I'm not a very good communicator. I don't think it's necessarily that I'm not a good communicator, but I've got a lot on my plate, with children and husband and life and business. Like, I have a lot.
Yeah.
And then you'll just have people who just make you feel so bad, like for not picking up their phone calls and not being at their birthday brunch and all these expectations.
That's so annoying.
Like, I find that really, really difficult, especially the one about, you didn't respond to my texts, you're blanking me. Like, I can't cope with that. It actually makes me not want to talk to you more.
I know. And shout out to my other friend I'd forgotten, Feli. Today we're talking about friendships and different friendships. My friend Feli, right? She lives in South Africa. Shout out to you. You don't watch this, but I'll send a clip to you because obviously I want you to know this. She's one, she didn't understand me when we started being friends.
What, did she have the same kind of problems? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because she's a communicator, right? She likes to check in with her friends. She's a girly's girl, right? So and I'm not like that. I'm not that friend where we speak every day. I find it very taxing because you're spending so much time. So I can't do that. She's like that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't realize that I'm a self-watering plant and I don't need to my friends to shower me with all these blessings and time. I can't abide it. And she struggled with it. One day she sent me a scrolly, right? Like literally breaking up with me.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't want to do this with me. And also some of it comes from her and maybe her friendships that she's had before me. So I texted her. I said, I don't do this. This is not what I do. I'm not that kind of a friend. We talk when there's something to talk about and whatever. But because she's genuine and she really wanted to get to know me, she quickly was like, oh, okay, fair enough. But one thing about her, she can sense me if I'm not okay. So even if we don't speak and I'm happy, she doesn't pop up.
That's just her own natural.
Yes,
gift.
she's such an empath. And that's one thing I've realized about her. Whenever I've not been okay, she will pop up. Are you okay, babes? I know you don't like me, hunting you down, but I'm sensing. And I like that because then I will ring. I'll say to her, I'll ring you straight away or I'll ring you after. And I'll ring her. And she's such a listener as well, which is not one thing about Zimbabwean women, grown women my age, they don't listen when you're talking. They listen to respond. When you're having a call. That's what I struggle with friendships. That's why I don't like friends who would like us to talk every day.
Yeah.
Because it sort of like becomes an out-talking match. You are talking, she's talking, you're talking, she's talking, she's talking, you're talking. No one listens to anyone.
Yeah.
She's a listener.
Yeah.
I can rant and not hear anything from her. And then she goes, and she'll ask the right questions. Say. And then I'm just taken aback and I'm just like, you're lovely, Yeah, because I've had friends in the past where they've been demon
You know what you're saying about your friend Feli, right? Like, she's a good communicator. She's an all-in kind of friend. I had a friend like that. Like, she was an all-in kind of friend. Like, she put a lot of effort into her relationships, but she didn't understand the way I am. And subsequently, the relationship just disappeared. And I think, like, part of being a good friend is being accepting of the kind of people that your friends are and seeing their intentions at the core and not necessarily taking everything personally. Because I think as you grow up and life starts to life, and people are in different stages in their life, but I think people can be quite selfish and kind of like, what is it? Like,
very, very
blinkered when it comes to friendships that they can't see. They think, okay, because I'm the kind of person who, if you like throw a garage opening, I'm always going to be there. If you do anything, I'll be there to support you. I'll call you every single day. And that's their way of showing love.
Yeah.
They expect people to show love.
To show
love in the same way.
And you see,
people show love in different
ways.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, now you're saying that there's also, now because we've been talking about the other side, there's also us as friends. Sometimes we can be very bad friends, you know, as human beings, not unintentionally. You know, because, you know, when I was younger, in my younger years, because this is me reflecting, I used to be a hoarder of friends. I would just hoard my friends and keep them there, knowing I've got nothing to do with them. Because I know that they genuinely want to be friends with me, but I don't have anything to give them, but I'm just keeping them there. Or they would invite me to go to places. I used to be terrible. I'll say, yeah, I'll do it on the day, maybe 2 hours before, maybe an hour before. I'll just slide out of the motive.
Yeah, Mom used to do that even to me, and I told her, you need to manage people's expectations.
Yes, I was terrible, and I have to say that about me. Showing up for people.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I also didn't say, no, I'm not coming. I'll just say, yeah, I'm coming, and I just don't. And
like
one particular time, I'm sorry, Irene. Irene made me I think a MC or something to a wedding. And I said, yeah, I'm coming. I had no intention of going there. But I just didn't know how to say no.
She watches our podcast, you know.
I know she does. She sees this, and I'm very sorry because I think that damaged our relationship to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't intend to. I didn't have money to go there. But I couldn't come up and say to her, you live far and I don't have money. I just said, yes, I will do it, when I knew that I didn't have money to do it. And I think she was very hurt by it. And I'm so sorry. I've never apologized to her about it. So as a friend, sometimes that's one thing I've struggled about. That's why I don't keep too many friends, because I learned from that time when I was younger that I need a small, manageable circle of friends who I can actually show up for when it matters. And we're going to speak about different sex relationships, you know, boy-girl relationships. Those ones, right? Those ones function as long as one of you is not in love with the other. Do you think so?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. That's the only way. I used to think that. I think most of them, though, 90% of male-female relationships, there's somebody who fancies somebody else.
Yeah.
It's rare to actually have a male-female bestie ship where it's fully platonic.
I think it starts there. Then when you realize that there's no chance, then it becomes platonic.
Then you realize you actually get to know the person. You're like,
you go, what was I even like?
Why would I even? I could never like.
But you know what? When I was younger,
because I've got loads of guy friends. Like, I've got Jack, Niall, Munya. Like, some of my best friends are guys, but I really don't see them like that. Like, no.
And you know, the thing is, I've found, especially, you know when you're younger and you're playing with boys, right? When they're boys are your friends, and you grow up. Male-female relationships are not very complicated, you know. I think from the male friends I have, sometimes they get complicated, especially if the wife is not very sure of what you're doing. When they get married, and then there's a third
they're
party.
easier when you're younger.
When you're younger, when you get older, they become more difficult.
Yeah, and like you have to be very bound, like proper. If you're in a long-term relationship, you really need to be sure of what the relationship is. Yeah. Because otherwise it can be... Because there's loads of girl besties who actually are in love with...
your man.
Yeah.
And the other thing is not even just that. Also, because I'm of the school that and comment in the comment section if you think this is wrong. If I'm friends with your man, it doesn't extend to you as the wife. You will be my acquaintance, but you're not my friend.
You know, the thing is, like, all my male friends who are in relationships, I don't really know they're
better halves,
no,
isn't
I
it?
don't. I don't. So I can't say I disagree with that.
Yeah, because I find that very difficult because, you know, when people are in love, they have their own union there, which I might not necessarily know about. So, because somebody was saying to me, they were really upset by this because the one of their friends got married, right? And the invitation was just for the husband, but not necessarily the wife. And they were very hurt by it. They were saying, "Oh no, the friend is weird. The friend only invited my husband."
I don't think that's weird.
I don't, honestly, I do not. Because they were trying to tag me into this.
I don't think that's weird. I would not be offended if my husband was invited to a wedding for his friend and I was not invited. I don't know these people. Actually, I'd rather not be invited because I feel awkward around people I don't know.
Yeah, and also, that's the thing about relationships, romantic relationships. The moment you want to encompass everyone and everything into one, I think people need spaces, separate friendship groups where you can go and rant and rave about your husband and they don't know them, right? I don't want to know my friends' wives. They're not my friends. Or if my male best friends or my male friends, I don't want to know their wives, and vice versa. I don't want them to know my partner either. That's my life, separate to what we have here. That I think people try to do this all in the name of transparency, but then it comes to your own relationship and how you're relating. Because if you trust your man, why are you now then having to declare me as your friend? They know I exist. They know I'm your friend. The only time they should be calling me is when it should tell me that you are ill, or if they were supposed to be coming my way and they haven't arrived, things like that. We should talk when it's really important. I don't want to have small talk.
Unless it's natural. Like, I'm not against it. If you just naturally, like, have, like, that relationship, you know, like what you were saying
with Gwen.
Exactly. Yeah. That was, like, a natural thing that happened. And I think that's fine, but it shouldn't be forced. When you force it,
exactly,
now it can be a bit...
And you know the thing about Gwen, why we became friends, I think that's the way she thinks as well.
Yeah.
Because when I first ever met Gwen,
yeah,
she was just literally my hairdresser, and that was it.
Yeah.
And because my friend just told me that, my wife does hair, so I went there to promote my friend's wife's business. So if it wasn't that she was a hairdresser, probably I would have never known about her. I wouldn't even want to know. And when I went in there, I kept it at hairdressing, but because of how funny she is and how nice she is, we started having because you spend so many hours with your hairdresser, isn't it? So we ended up actually having a friendship outside the man's friendship. But if you're not a hairdresser or a seamstress or something, I don't really care.
You know what you're saying, yeah? I've asked Munya so many times why I've never met any of Munya's girlfriends, like, ever. And then he just said it's just not by force. Like, if it happens, it'll happen naturally, but I don't want a situation where I'm just forcing people,
and it becomes very awkward,
like,
you know.
I'm the common. Yeah, he has said it a few times. Now you've explained it like that, I guess it. But I used to be a bit like, why don't you want me to meet your babe?
I'm one who actually doesn't want to meet any of my friends' wives. And because there was one time, this one insisted, the wife is the one who insisted, because I think they didn't trust each other, and he didn't trust him to just have a platonic relationship with another female. So she insisted to come to this meeting. This was back in Zim. I've never been in such an awkward place in my life. You know, when you've got actually nothing in common. So we just sit there staring at each other. And, you know, I can be awkward. I can actually take awkward to another level. So I said, I'm not going to make...
You've got the button for you.
Yeah.
You can be so cool or so awkward.
So we literally sat and just stared each other into oblivion. Because why we're not friends. I'm friends with your husband, but I don't love your husband. I've known your husband for years and years and years and years before you were even there. So if I really wanted to do that, I would. So I think it's more of a reflection on you's relationship than it is on the other person.
Yeah.
And some people, you know, I had a friend who told me, and I respected them for it, because some relationships, they will tell you that, you know, if you are friends with a woman, it ends today. You can't be friends with any more women because we are married. And this friend of mine said to me, you know what?
because for some people that's like a really like big thing.
Yeah, and my friend was very upfront because some friends won't tell you this. They'll just stop,
They'll just ghost you,
whatever. Yeah. And we had a conversation like, well, my missus. But now they've broken up with the missus.
When
so
they
we're
break
back
up, they'll be back like picking
but
up
she did
all
say,
their relationship.
Yeah, but you did say to me.
You know what? Speaking about that, the galdem are synonymous for when they get in relationships with people, they forget about their galdem. Well gone for that.
I don't think they forget about their galdem.
Nah,
they're frightened. No, because the thing is also when a relationship, because especially I know girls who would never be around other girls when they're in a relationship purely because of their past experiences with other girls now or moving on to their man. So they're doing what is called the risk assessment and risk matrix, and they just think, you know what, if this friend is around my man is gone.
Okay, so why is it once you've broken up with a man, you now start trying to pick up all your friends?
Because some people are frightened of the loneliness that comes with breakups. So you go back to your friends, and because your friends are graceful. Also, it depends with how people exit the streets, right? when you exit the streets, right, when you re-enter the streets, there will be a full welcoming party of you coming back. But if you become those, I've known friends.
I know friends who exit the streets very ungracefully.
That like, when they come back,
see your asses no more. Bye.
When they start saying, they start saying, I don't understand why you are
indirecting people.
Yeah, saying my man, everything. This is my man. We do everything with my man. Oh, do you want to come out for a lunch? A very innocent lunch. I have to speak to my man. And then the man is gone, and they're now looking for you every day. And they're like, so where is your man, though? But there are some people who. Gwen, shout out to Gwen, she's another one. When she re-entered the streets from a decade of a marriage, I embraced her. And even now she's back in,
I've got friends,
she's back to being Mrs. Dead. You know what? I'm still her friend. I don't know, that's my best friend. Regardless of what marital status she's in, she's very all-encompassing. So,
I've got
those
friends who I'm not going to chat to because they were... You can't hear from them when they're with their man.
But there's a time also you should be graceful with your friends.
You should be graceful, but it's about how you leave the sheets.
No. What I'm trying to say is, like when a relationship is new, everything is smelling nice, and your man is texting you. When you see your friend just popping up and sharing a meme with you, you're just like, go off, man, I'm trying to build this, right? When people are in a romantic, in that honeymoon phase, leave them be.
Yeah.
When they've settled and your friend is still acting funny, then you know that your friend is funny. But
if someone's in love and they don't have time for you, that's fine. It's when you are acting like a cow. Like we had a friend, right, who when she got into a relationship, she started saying that, I'm sorry, I can't hang out with like single people because those kinds of things.
Those ones are literally
like
building
pissing on their past. So when they came back to the streets, we didn't have time for them.
There you go. No, that's different. I'm talking about you as friends as well. You need to give people time to get to know each other because before you know it, relationships as I know them, they come a time when they become they'll need their friends. Those ones, that's okay, be graceful with them. Those ones now will start going preaching and now saying, I know, writing relationship advice books, and now they're no longer talking to their single friends, and they're saying now they've got an executive committee of married people. They only speak to people in relationships. Those ones, when they come back to the streets,
leave them.
Because they're going to do that again when they find another one to couple with. But people in an early rosebuddy relationship, leave them be. So that you can laugh when they go, guys, I'm back.
You know who I always laugh at? I always laugh at, like, Rosenda all the time. She's like one person I regularly laugh at. Because when she was in a relationship, she was in love. And I said to her, I'm saying to her, I'm going to take screenshots of this because if and when you break up with this guy, this is going to be the evidence of how mad you're acting when you're in a relationship. I remember one time I asked her to do something. She goes, I can't because I'm cooking.
Cooking for who?
Me and her sister, we laughed at her. She was so upset with us. Even now, to this day, I still bring it up just for
I had a friend way back. They went into a relationship with a guy they'd prayed for. No, literally put a picture in front of an altar and prayed for, and then they came and then they asked them out and they started going out with him. So they used to write, there's this song, I don't know who sang it, it's an R&B song that goes, "Sent from heaven."
I don't know.
Yeah. So when this guy called,
love
this
is so sweet, guys.
Fam, she was irritating. You'd go to a party, right? This girl would bracket, you'd be, there would be like, music and she'll be dancing, right? When she went into a relationship, she would get the boyfriend then, his jacket and put it over her legs and sit. Whilst this man is and she would go and get food for the man, and she used to call him daddy. They were not married at this point. They'd just been dating for like 6 months. Then she said, "Oh, I'm moving out of Leicester." She told me, though, "I'm moving out of Leicester because there's a lot of temptation for my man and myself. We want to go and focus on each other." And then she left and she blocked me. And I thought she had only blocked me. She blocked every one of her friends to focus on her marriage, right? Tell me why I'm meeting her in Oxygen. Breaking it like she used to do a long time ago. So I had to tap her.
You said, "Welcome back to the streets, baby."
I didn't even say welcome back to the streets. I said, "Where's your man?" And she goes, "What man?" I said, I thought you left because you wanted to, those type of people.
Anyways, we have to round up, babes.
Yeah, so when you're friends, what to take away from this? When you're friends, you have many friends. Don't act weird when you're in relationships. We love you. Have a lovely rest of the day.
And tag your good friends. Want to hear all your good
stories
about your friends who've been there for
let
you.
Let the conversation spill over to TikTok as well. Tell us about it. I will share my friends' photos, the ones I've mentioned. They don't mind me mentioning them. I'm going to share their photos on TikTok if you follow us. And sometimes you might actually see, you've seen me with one of them if you follow us on TikTok. Yeah. The other ones, you haven't seen me with them, but I will share them with you. Take care.
Thank you. Shout out to all the homeboys and the homegirls, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Shout out to Chase and Lester
Podcast Studios. Thank you.